Good day there everyone, and welcome to the Vintage Time 2022 Christmas special. On behalf of myself and my family, we wish all our subscribers and regular viewers a very joyous time during this Christmas season, and also have a safe and healthy new year. So most years I post a end of year Christmas video and it takes you through my journey of faceting. Often there are highs and lows, so join me once again for another Christmas video. So for our family, the year in 2022 really started in Tasmania, where we departed Melbourne on the Spirit of Tasmania, and my first port of call to find gemstones in the new year was on the Ringarooma River near Derby, and that's where I found some nice topaz and spinel. Found a couple of sapphires, but they weren't very good, and they were also a little bit on the small side. So here's some footage of myself on the Ringarooma River in the new year, and my son is filming. Yes, there's a little bit of shaky cam going on, but basically what I do, I find a spot where I see a little bit of heavy mineralization, particularly of spinels, and if I see that, I'm hoping that there may be sapphires in that general area. Now, like any time you go out looking for gems or minerals, it's a little bit of a lucky dip. You know, you find some, sometimes you don't, and that's part of the fun. So basically the contents get shoveled into the sieve, and then I wash it out in water, flip the sieve over, because all the heavy materials like spinels and sapphires, and even topaz for that matter, will usually sit on the bottom of the sieve after it's been washed through with water. So the trick is, when you're looking for gemstones, is not to fall head first into the water before you actually sieve the contents. So here you see me with the tweezers after I've sieved the contents, pulling out a small topaz that I could potentially facet. The black material you see is actually spinel, and you can facet that also, but I think that's too small. So here's a close-up of the topaz on a rock. Also found a few small pieces of jelly bean-like crystals. Here's a bit of citrine, so there's a little bit of that around also in the river. So after 2 days I found all this topaz, some zircons, and some pretty ordinary sapphires. So after my Tasmanian trip, my first faceting project was to facet a design chosen by a global audience on YouTube. And there were several designs that were posted by an Australian gem cutter, gem designer called Tony Collins, and the design they wanted me to facet was called the NQR round, which is an acronym for not quite right. So here's my first attempt of faceting the design while Jaws does all the filming and having a few beers on the side by the look of it. Very talented dog. However, this design didn't go to plan the first time around. From memory, I had an issue on the transfer, and when I faceted the crown, there was some mirroring index issue, because when I looked at the design, it just didn't look the same as what I was cutting. I got lost within the facets, and then all of a sudden it was a recovery job where I just had to recover whatever I could, just make things up as I went along, and still finish the gem, but it wasn't to the specifications of the design. So this is what it looks like the first time around. So this is what the gem looks like the second time around. I recut the gem in a Madeira citrine from Brazil, and I think the design come out really well. So that was my first faceting project for the year of 2022. So after completing my faceting project, the next thing I did was go to my first gem show in well over a year because of COVID. Now this is all post-COVID, earlier in 2022, and the gem show was hosted by the Bendigo Gem Club, and it's been so long since I've been to a gem show, so I went with my best friend Merv. And also during this time I was hosting my own gem cutting competition called The World's Most Beautiful Gem, and you'll get to see some results from that competition later on. Meanwhile, here's a selection of some of the minerals and gems that were at the gem show. So following the Bendigo Gem Show, the next port of call in 2022 was the Thornton Rock Swap Meet. And I love going to Thornton because you have a lot of people who are prospectors just selling just gems and minerals that they've found somewhere, usually in Australia. Unlike the Bendigo or the Ballarat Gem Shows, you get more commercial traders. So usually I find gems to facet, whereas with the commercial traders I don't. So this is probably my favourite rock swap meet or gem shows of the year. So this is a big highlight, and you just get to see a little bit of the footage of the day when I went along with my best friend Merv. So following the Thornton Rock Swap meet, my next project was to facet this piece of peridot, which comes from Pakistan. So this is the before shot in the rough, and this is what it looks like faceted. So having completed the peridot, I finally got to finishing off this project by rebuilding this old faceting machine I bought several years ago, and it didn't come with the faceting head. I bought that from China for about $100 Australian, but just assembling and cleaning up the rest of the machine took so long for me to get around to it, and this is what it looked like completed. So I was really happy that this project had finally been completed, and unfortunately I still have not tested it. So after the faceting machine project, I decided that I wanted to be a little bit more adventurous by trying out different materials and working with different materials, and this is polymer clay, and I set one of the gems I faceted into polymer clay. You actually bake it in the oven, and then I went on to working with silver, and I've never done this before. and this is the first ring I've ever made. And a gentleman at my gem club who's very good with silver taught me how to make my first silver ring, so I gave this to my wife as a present, so I was really happy with the end result. So like I said before, I wanted to be more adventurous, but not so much with just gemstones or faceting, but with life in general. And I ended up getting my motorbike license, my L plates, and I bought a little motorbike, and it's taken me to places that I've never seen before. So I ended up getting my motorbike around about mid-year. So to conclude the year of 2022, we had the entrance and the final results of the world's most beautiful gem competition that I hosted. We didn't have lots of entrants, but the quality of the work was really good, and the participation from people on the YouTube channel to choose the best gem that they thought was the most beautiful gem was pretty overwhelming. So I was pretty happy with the result and the quality of the gem submitted. So here's a photo of the winner and the winning gem of the world's most beautiful gem competition. So the winner's name is Peter, and congratulations to Peter. I'm not going to reveal his full name due to confidentiality reasons, but also I would like to thank the other two contestants because their gems were really wonderful also, but I don't decide the winner. It was up to the audience, and they decided that this green trillion was the world's most beautiful gem. So all these gems that were faceted for this competition will be donated to the Longwood Gemstone Museum, Victoria, Australia. So you will be able to see these gems in real life. So once again, thank you to all the entrants that participated in this competition. So if there's enough interest, I'll host this competition again in 2023, and as you can see, there was a really nice trophy that this gentleman won, and he received some nice fastening rough and a nice certificate for his efforts. So last but not least, we have Jaws here, and Jaws is still alive and enjoying life and still begging as per usual. Here we go, 1, 2, 3, and down the hatch. Thank you very much. So on behalf of Jaws and myself, we wish everyone a very wonderful Christmas, a safe and happy New Year, and we'll see you in the New Year. Take care everyone. It's bye for now.